Hey, you hear the music. You know what time of year it is creeping up on us. So join me, Gino V.
And your boy COVID-free STAMP for the F.M.P holiday giveaways. We're going to be giving away prizes and cash too.
Say what?
Yeah, you heard right. Prizes and cash and so much more for the free ski.
To participate, all you got to do is download the F.M.P Radio app for iOS and Android. Then listen out for the word of the day. Take a screenshot of the app along with the word of the day and text us to 773-599-0717.
Yeah, man. And we'll text you a lucky number back to win the prize of that day. Now, if we don't get a winner, the cash and everything else rolls over. You know what I'm saying? And once we get a winner, we'll start over again.
So make sure you get that app, F.M.P Radio for iOS and Android, so you can get in on the action or you're going to miss out. Join us for the F.M.P Radio holiday giveaways and start winning.
Happy holidays. You dig.
Stay woke.
F.M.P Radio, we keep it 100.
We represent that middle school music. That's music with an IQ, yeah, I mean.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
Old school, new school, need to learn though. Old school, new school, need to learn though. Old school, new school, need to learn though. Old school, new school, need to learn though.
Welcome back to class here on Middle School Music. That's music with the IQ because we dropping that knowledge. F.M.P Radio, keeping it 100. Brought to you in part by FU2, Forever United Together, Eli Quintana, and the Takeoff Foundation, taking the kids off the streets. The semi-pro basketball team, Midwest Storm out of Romeoville, Illinois. And, of course, the makers of My Killer Gravy, the finest motherfucking gravy around. How's everybody doing out there? It is the top of the hour. You know what time it is. It is Sabrina Speaks Tuesdays here on Middle School Music. So we are going to kick it off, and I believe she is on with us. Hello, Sabrina. How are you?
Hello. Peace and prosperity. How y'all doing today?
Good. Stamp has an outage in his area, so it's gonna be you and I today.
Okay.
Yeah. How are you? How's everything today, though, on this Tuesday? How was the holiday?
Okay. So I went and I volunteered.
Okay.
I don't really celebrate. My family probably, I don't want to say my family probably does. My family still gets together and they cook, but, I don't live at home.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't really celebrate, but I do believe in giving and being thankful and going to help anybody's mission that's out giving. So I participated in Operation Turkey and they gave out 75,000 plates. It was one of 75,000.
No, I said awesome. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. It was really, really good. And and then I went home. Went back to the country and went home. And because my dog was born on Thanksgiving. And I no longer have him, so I was a little sad. This is my first Thanksgiving without him.
I hear you. Sorry to hear that. But I hear you, though. Yeah, I celebrate just for the coming together of the family. You know what I mean?
The free opportunity to be with your family without having to take off.
Yeah, and because, the history of it, I was like, what? But after, I know, right? I was like, wait, help, Paul.
You want me to call this, you mean you want me to call it Indigenous People Day? That's what you want me to do, right?
There you go. Right. Or that should be more what it is. Exactly. And I just am thankful to be with my fam, those that I love, and we get to break bread. That's all it is. But just glad it was good. You know what I'm saying? And it was safe and it was positive. So that's what's up.
Definitely. Yeah. How was yours?
It was good. Yeah. Like I said, we got together. The guys do the football thing in the morning, and then the girls are cooking and hanging out in the kitchen, so in a Hispanic family, and even I've noticed in the African-American families, they hang out in the kitchen. That's like the spot to be at, right? I mean, it's almost like the second living room, so to speak.
It's holy commune. It's a holy place, historically. That's where you were probably working So
True.
it's a lot of history there. It's a lot of things to teach your children, a lot of
Right.
culture to pass on. And, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. So yeah, we did good. We ate good. Definitely got that turkey coma. No, but yeah,
Yeah,
nonetheless, it was good, positive. Everybody's healthy, so that's what's up.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, man, first of the month, people got dough. You got
Mm,
you got tips for them, especially right now with what's going on. I'm sure the first of the month today means a lot to a lot of people and what they have to do with their funds, right?
yeah. I would say, I think last week I said I was going to talk about like the 7 steps for Dave Ramsey. Is that what I said? I think I said it the week
I
before
believe
last.
Right. Yes, I do believe you did say that. Yeah, you were talking about Dave Ramsey, and there was a book, I believe, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then yeah, and then you were gonna speak more on his policies and like his ways. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna just hit his first baby step so he has like 7 steps. And the first one is to get a savings account with at least $1,000 in it.
Okay.
My tip to everybody is to put that money in a separate banking institution. Put that money somewhere it's hard to get to. And y'all, direct deposit is
Ah, you did touch on that.
I did.
Yes, you did. You did touch on the fact that you should put it somewhere. Like, for instance, you have one that's like out of your town or wherever, so you cannot
Mm-hmm.
get to it easy, and you don't have the debit card for it. So there's no way to say, I'm just gonna swipe this real quick.
And
Right,
transfer and put it back. Now you can't do all of that.
right,
No, no, no,
right.
no.
So you're right. You did touch on that the last time we spoke. Yes, you did. Yep. And that was, you can reiterate though, it is good advice to do exactly what you're
It's
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's extremely important. And every time I talk about savings account or I talk about bank accounts, I say it, and I'm hoping that repetition just stick to you somewhere in your subconscious and you just do it.
Right.
But put that money in a separate banking account. Direct deposit is very healthy for you because if it directly goes there and you never see it, whether you're setting it up from the current bank that you have to where it moves, like mine specifically, I have money that comes into my account every Friday. And
Okay.
every Friday, I pay myself first. It's automatic with Chase. Chase will allow you to do once a week, every 2 weeks, a certain day of the week. It allows you to do it all. So I
Okay.
pay myself a certain amount and it goes over to that savings account. Once I hit my $1,000 savings goal, and I upped mine because I feel like with everything that's going on in the world, I need at least $1,500.
Okay.
Right. So I hit that too. But once I hit that $1,500, then I went and opened up another account. I actually went and opened up an account with I already had credit cards with them, but Capital One.
Okay.
I'm very strategic when I open up accounts because this is how I feel. Y'all are big money banks. You wouldn't be a bank if you couldn't build capital. And we're gonna get to talking about another bank and why I make that statement. You wouldn't be a bank if you didn't have a lot of capital. So what are you offering me? What are you offering me to put my money in your bank? Capital One, recently I opened up a checking account with them. I've never had a checking account with them because if you're not offering me anything, I won't. It's got to be a give and take. Like
Right.
you got to
Right.
hold them to the same standard that you hold everybody else to. Oh, not that nobody should be going to the club, but you're not going to the club unless they doing a happy hour. You're not going to that club unless they're doing happy hour. Okay, well, don't go to a bank unless they're offering you some type of incentive, whether it's
Yeah.
we waive or we return when you go to the ATM, we return ATM fees, or your minimum balance has to be $5, or you don't have a monthly fee, or we do A, B, and C every year. You have to give me something.
Right.
So Capital One, long story short, was offering a $450 incentive to open up the account.
Okay.
And so I went and opened up an account. Now you have to, over a period of like 60 days, you have to have like $1,000 deposited into the account, which is no big deal because obviously I got that savings account.
Right.
So as money is still being directly deposited over into that savings account, I then set up another transfer of this amount over what my goal amount of $1,500 is to automatically go over there.
Okay.
And I gave that account a nickname. Nicknaming your accounts is really important because it gives you a connection with your finances. But I nicknamed that account for a particular goal that I have, as far as working with my my press-on nail business, which I'm not going to talk about today. We're not going to talk about that.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. We're not going to talk about that.
Okay.
But I gave it the nickname for my press-on nail business because I specifically put a certain amount that I dedicate to that business. And then I have another account where I dedicate a specific amount in regards to investment to my dad's shop. Then I have another account that I specifically invest into my well-being. That's for my body, my health, all of that.
Right.
So you just have to nickname these accounts and make sure they're aligned with what your purpose and what you have going on. But yeah, do not be going to open up accounts and they don't serve you anything. Like if these accounts are not serving you anything, let them go. Let them go like a bad relationship. Let it go. Do like Elsa. Let it go.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. If you don't have anything to offer, you'll hold other businesses and entities to that, but not your bank. Yeah.
Not your bank, your finance, because are they entitled to your funds, or you know what I'm saying? And last week we talked about the bank. Well, not last week, the week before. Sorry, you guys, I missed last week.
No worries.
But we talked about the bank on standards because they, they identify banks that have good banking practices to help you. Those standards are a good starting point, right? But you always have to search for more. Especially for minorities, you always have to search for more. You have to see who's giving what, who's doing what. So yeah, something I do in regards to that, and this is all about getting that $1,000, that first $1,000, you guys. Something else I do periodically, I will just Google banks providing incentives to open up accounts.
Okay.
I do that every 3 months.
That makes sense. Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Do it. Like, I wouldn't say go open, don't take it. You're going to have to decide what works best for you because the standards are different for each account. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't bring in $2,000 a month and they're saying you got to put in $2,000 into that account and you don't think you can hustle it up doing Uber, Lyft, whatever the case may or may not be, don't do it. Don't do it because you're not going to get that incentive when you could have taken an incentive for $50 or $200, right?
Yeah.
At another bank and had guaranteed money. And that's something I used to do too. I used to drive Favor, which is like Uber Eats, right?
Okay.
And when I was doing my little incentive search, it would say, oh, you have to put this amount into that account. So I would drive until I reached that amount and it all got put into that account so that I got my incentive for that 30-day, 60-day time period, Yeah.
Okay.
So there's plenty of ways to get yourself to that $1,000. I don't know if anybody's ever heard that saying, but it says the first million is hard. And then after that, it's just kind of like you just hitting it. It's you now counting in thousands versus hundreds. You know what I'm saying? So once you reach that first 1,000, everything moves itself, because once you're used to having that type of money and not just spending it, it's like, okay, I got $1,000 over there. I mean, I can surely come up with another 1,000 if I did that within 2 months, and all I had to do was budget.
Right.
So that's his first step.
Word. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not easy.
Right.
It's not easy. It's very, it can be hard. But something that I learned, I wish I wasn't on my phone doing this Zoom call. I mean, the Zoom call, but I'm on my phone today. I don't have my mic or nothing because I'm not at my home. But
I knew the audio was a little different today, but
I know it was so clear. I miss it.
Oh, you good though. You good. It's all right. We can still hear you perfect.
Awesome. But
let me just say hi, family.
Yes, it's Stamp has joined us. Yeah. Welcome. Come on in.
Yeah, how you doing? We having internet issues over here. I think one of these Georgia drivers hit a transformer again. I don't know.
One of those late mailmen.
Yeah. So if y'all hear me chopping up a little bit, that's the transformer. But
yes,
welcome. I'm so glad to see you. I'm definitely glad to see you.
Yes. Welcome, Lady K, as well on YouTube. Come on
Hey,
in.
Lady K.
Come on in. Do you have any questions about money tips or banking as we are speaking? Feel free to comment live with us. We will ask your questions and get you some answers. So, yeah. Speaking of banks, I was curious on a bank that I've been seeing pop up a lot on social media, and I signed up for it. I know it's not even available yet, but it's the Greenwood Bank that I noticed was opened by, if I'm not mistaken, it's Killer Mike, correct? Isn't he the one who
He's co-founder of the
co-found?
bank.
Correct. Okay.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I was a little bit curious about, I mean, from what I've read, if you know a little more detail, all I saw was things like every month it's going to be helped. They're going to help small businesses with like $10,000 grants.
Mm.
That they, it's a Latinx and African American run bank. So I'm kind of happy about that. And maybe also, like you were saying, the incentives, there's no like overdraft fees, there's no
Beautiful.
yeah, it's all, that's where I don't have more like the technical side of it. Like is it like a credit union or is it more like
It's a financial institution. It's not technically a bank. Last week we talked about those bank on standards. It's not FDIC. And I'm gonna talk about its nots, and then I'm gonna talk about its is in a second.
sure
But it's not FDIC insured yet. But like I was saying, you have to have a certain amount of capital before you can.
do that?
Yeah. So is it surprising that it's not? No. Do I think that it's a bad financial institution? I would have to say no. But if you're looking for FDIC insured, it's not. And what FDIC insured does is basically it protects your money up to a certain amount. Should the economy crash, they have to return you this amount, whether it be from them or backed by the government on an insurance policy or something of that nature.
Right.
So,
so without that, you're more risk of if they lose and they fail, there's no guarantee of you getting the money you invested into the bank.
Yeah, but
yeah.
But they probably, I'm not gonna say they probably, to be a financial institution, they most likely have an insurance policy that will help you. It's just not up to the standards of the federal government.
Gotcha.
Right. There's a certain standard that you have to meet. So I think that it is a very good motive. Greenwood Bank, the name itself will make you cry. I told you when you texted about it, and you was like, I'm interested in Greenwood Bank. I was waiting for you to bring it up. I was like, I'm gonna let him bring it up. I'm gonna let him bring it up.
Okay.
Y'all, I'm on espresso, so forgive me if I seem a little fidgety.
It's okay. I know what
Like
you mean. When I have one of those, I'm the same way.
I'm really fidgety. So if my thoughts go somewhere, y'all let me know. Sabrina, come back. This was the question.
Which one is that? Which one is that? Is that
this
pepper?
Is the pumpkin spice latte with coconut milk. So if somebody ever want to bless me.
Yeah, Starbucks.
Pumpkin spice latte with coconut milk. It already comes with 2 shots of espresso. I add an additional 2 shots. And although I don't like milk, I do like the whipped cream.
Wow.
You're gonna be woke.
I used to do 4 shots
I'm woke.
of espresso with
talk about ancestors woke. What you said, Gino?
I used to do 4 shots of espresso with the half and half, and that would be so I know what you're going through. I can't do that anymore.
I'm a little warm right now. I got this
I know
jacket
what
on,
you.
but this
Yeah,
ain't
I
got no
know where
sleeves
you
in
at.
it.
I know where you at, and that's all good. Espresso is a beautiful thing. But
I'm here and I'm present.
Right? I know you are.
Hey, my question regarding that the you said it's the Greenwood Bank, right, G?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And with them, is it like a process that they would go through to become like federally protected or whatever? Or is it something like, do they have to reach a certain level to become federally protected?
I know you have to have a certain amount of capital. Now, I've never opened up a bank. I thought about it, started researching it, and realized that I was not in a position to open up a bank. But there's a certain amount of capital that you have to have available. There's certain standards that you have to reach. There's like certain like tax stuff that you have to do. there's a lot into it. Like you need a team, like a team. Like everybody went to, I don't want to say everybody went to Harvard Business School, but you need like a business school team. You need a team, right? To enter into there and to be.
I'm sorry.
No. To enter into there and to be, what's the word? Competent and competitive. Right. So they're just a financial institution, but there are certain standards they have to meet. So the more people that are joining this financial institution, I will say, if their intent is to be a bank, you are in fact supporting that movement for them to move to be FDIC insured if you are joining it, because you're increasing their capital.
Right.
Yeah. Gino, you're about to say something?
Shoot, I kind of forgot. I'm sorry.
Okay,
but what you saying that basically answered my question is the people that join, you know what I'm saying? They have to have enough people to increase their capital so they could be FDIC approved, or funded, and which is definitely a good thing now. With them just starting out, because I know with a lot of I like history. So back in the day when people they was giving these bonds out, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Then the Great Depression hit and your bonds is worth nothing, but your money is all in there. Wall Street fell. So I think that people look at it's federally funded and federally insured as a good thing, but not knowing on the back end, they can still screw you if some stuff happened, you know what I'm saying? So what would be the benefits of going with this, going with Killer Mike and them bank and helping them grow, you know what I'm saying, versus a normal
bank?
Real quick before you answer that question, I do remember now, I'm sorry to interject, but it kind of goes with what Stamp is saying, because you were talking about building capital and like needing a team. And I think that's exactly what's been transpiring, because the more from the first day I saw it till up to mentioning it to you today, Sabrina, I noticed that they've added like a lot of popular faces to this brand and this bank, I guess, because that's what it feels like looking at it on social media, you know, and whether or not that's just the make it look appealing, but it does seem like they are building up some sort of like team and effort to be hopefully like a big institution where we can count on, you know, those to do us right rather than wrong. So I don't know. Now to answer Stamp's question.
She on Espresso, she forgot.
No, I didn't. You guys, I've been holding my thoughts because I am aware that I'm on Espresso.
I got to.
First thing, Greenwood, when I heard the name Greenwood, because my mom called me and we were talking about, this was way back when we were talking about HSAs, right? And so my mom called me, she's like, oh, what can I do, blah, blah, blah. And I got a lot of calls about HSAs, but I digress. So Greenwood, when she said Greenwood, it struck me. And I said, Greenwood Bank. And I felt this little feeling in my chest, and I'm like, Greenwood. You guys know about Black Wall Street, right?
Yeah,
That's the name. That was the actual name of the community, was Greenwood.
Right.
So it struck a nerve in me, like, whoa, because most people don't, when you talk about Tulsa, Oklahoma, people automatically think Black Wall Street was the name of the community. No, if that was the name of the community, it probably would have been torn down from the day it started.
Right.
It was called Greenwood. So that in itself said, we're trying to do something historically relevant for Black people. And then they took in and they included the Latino population. That was just, to me, whoa, like you made a statement with the name itself. So beautiful and perfect timing, especially when people were bringing up, filing suits against the government in regards to looking for restitution for the things that have been happening. And I follow those things, maybe not most people unless it has some big name behind it, but I really follow that. And there has been a lot of suits brought forth to the government, which have not been successful, because there are survivors from that time, and they ask for restitution and they have the proper documentation, and they, I do not believe, are being properly reimbursed. They're not being taken care of. So that name in itself is beautiful. In regards to what I said earlier about FDIC, they are not FDIC, but I just saw this. It says your money is safe and all deposits will be held at FDIC insured banks.
Oh wow! Okay.
So they found a way around it. So when you put your money in there, they're actually putting it into a FDIC bank to keep it safe.
That's smart.
So that's beautiful.
Using
right?
the other guy's insurance. Yeah.
Which a lot of nonprofits do. I didn't know you could do that with banks. That's beautiful.
Okay.
So obviously Killer Mike got a team, and I ain't know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't my business.
Definitely been out there doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he own it. You know what I mean? Killer Mike been building up spots out here in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Got like ownership and so much stuff. And to see him do this, it's not a surprise, but I really do feel that he got the best interests of us in hand. And you know what I'm saying? Like he is really.
Y'all ask me. Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I heard you.
I'm saying he's really trying to get us to understand our funds, understand if we spend our money with us, how we can grow. And like you said, with the Greenwood name, it's amazing, man. And I definitely gonna do some more research. G been telling me about this for a while, and but it's decent as hell. That's all I can say, and it's decent. I think it's legit too.
And they're taking all of the current, technology, and they're implementing that first.
Nice.
So they pulling an Amazon on them. They already Apple Pay, Android Pay, because they're starting digital. That's beautiful because they are going to be able to integrate with anybody's lifestyle. One thing about Black-owned banks, and it's a struggle because they struggle to get Black business, right? Because a lot of them have started off as brick and mortar banks. And because they're not getting the proper business allocated to them, they're not getting the proper funding from the different entities, so be that fund banks, you know what I'm saying? They are struggling. I know some of these Black-owned banks, there's only one Black-owned bank in Texas. And last time I checked, I could be wrong, but last time I checked, and that was pre-COVID, they were only open so many days out of the week. It was like very odd hours, open 2 or 3 days out the week. But that's because you got to be able to support your staff, but you're not really getting the influx of money that you need. So I think that Greenwood is going to be ahead on that front because they're already going to have the customer base. And what they can probably do from that data is decide if they decide to open up brick and mortars, right? Ooh, my hand itching. Ooh, is Mr. Mike gonna send me some money? He gonna offer me some stuff.
Now you keep on.
Well, they got
put it in your pocket. Put it in your pocket.
They have the donation links on YouTube, guys. There's the links up. So if you want to donate,
I need to go ahead and apply. See if I can win a $10,000 grant. God telling me something. But they're going to be able to take that data and decide strategically, be able to plant their brick and mortar banks. You know what I'm saying?
Is a dope thing based on what they seeing and where the most customers, what's the most
where the most customer base is, exactly, which is something that banks that started off as brick and mortar cannot do, right? Unless you're like Capital One or Chase or something, you really cannot flourish as a bank if you open up a brick and mortar bank before you open up your digital currency to decide this is where most of our business is. Do we want to put some in Houston? Yes, Houston may be a large city, but how many customers do we have in Houston? If we don't have very many, you can't just go and open up in metropolitan areas and expect it to flourish because Chase, Wells Fargo, Citibank, all of those are automatically there, and they have good names in the sense of longevity, right? So this is going to allow that. And then I think that they don't I don't want to say I think that they don't, but they don't have any hidden fees. But were you saying that they don't? Because I didn't see that, but you said that they don't have like a monthly fee. Is that what you said, Gino?
No, I was no overdraft.
No overdraft fee. That's beautiful.
Right,
Do they?
zero overdraft fees. Yeah.
I don't see anything about a minimum balance, but I would consider their minimum balance, any fees that they may have, but they're saying they're saying that they do not have any hidden fees.
Right.
One thing I would suggest, and they may already be doing it because it looks like they're taking the best things that banks have to offer, but
Right.
student accounts that don't have a monthly minimum balance don't charge monthly fees. Something that I have not seen any bank do yet. If you are making less than $40,000 or whatever their number is, $30,000, $50, whatever their number is, you shouldn't have a monthly fee.
Oh,
Because $5 is a
Agreed.
lot for a household. To me, because I understand the value of money, I know that a $5-10 monthly fee is a lot for a household that's making $30,000 a year, $40,000 a year.
Sure.
You know, that's a lot. So I would hope that I would like to see them do something like that. I haven't heard of anybody doing anything like that, but I would like to see them do something like that.
That would be nice. Yes,
That would be beautiful.
And I think I saw that they also inquire from those that are part of the bank as far as like where you would like to invest money as well. So certain stocks and things like that, you can kind of guide the money to what you kind of want to see it invested on or in or something like that, I believe. I don't want to say it's a official quote at all, but it just, as I was reading through, certain posts, but yeah, very interesting is all I was definitely getting at. I love the idea and I hope it flourishes for sure.
definitely.
I'm super excited.
I mean, I think it's a good thing, and I've been watching several of Killer Mike's. Him speak. You know what I'm saying? His shows that he have going on, and even David Banner, man, like been doing a lot. So I don't know if they are in conjunction with each other doing things, but hey, I'm excited about it just as much as you, G. I'm gonna definitely do a lot more research on it because I think it can be a good thing because we see federally funded, federal this, federal that, but a lot of our money and a lot of our stuff get messed up by the federal government.
It does.
It's better.
It does.
I think it's good to step out on a limb and take a chance with somebody that's really trying to help you understand things financially and help you help you better yourself. And that's what they've done from what I've seen with Killer Mike. That's what he's trying to do and has been trying to do. And I mean, I'm all for it. Now the one bank that you were speaking of earlier that's in Texas, the Black Bank, is that the bank that Willie D was talking about a few years ago?
What happened?
No. He was just trying to get people to come into the bank out in Texas, out in
Probably,
Houston.
yeah, because they're the only Black-owned bank. So Unity Bank.
Might be.
Let me double check. Because I don't want to misquote. And I just emailed them the other day about something. So let me double check. It's Unity. Unity National, I believe.
Those debit cards that got African kings and queens and stuff like that. I've been seeing them online. So I think that they trying to get into that digital field right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been seeing a lot of those advertisements come up too. It was a Unity.
Yeah, I want to say it's Unity National. I'm checking it right now. I just emailed them like 2 weeks ago. Let me double check. Yeah, it's Unity National Bank. I didn't want to misspeak on their name, but yeah, Unity National Bank. Y'all, it's not that I don't know who they are. Okay, it's just that sometimes you got to double check yourself when you're on 4 shots of espresso.
Dig it.
I'd love to see them do an educational portion. I seen one bank that does like an educational portion. Well, let me say well. Okay, I just saw an email, but that does it well. So I would like to see them do an educational portion in regards to that matter. What I do see is that their goal is to keep the money in the Black community. And as long as they stick to that value and they stick into building the Black community, because this is not to what's the word? Alienate any other community.
Sure.
However, let me be very clear. The Black community seems to be investing let me rephrase that. Black people seem to be investing in other communities, while you do not see that in the Latino community, you do not see that in the Asian community. They invest in their own community, and that money stays there a lot longer than it does anywhere else. Our money automatically goes outside of our community. So then we rely on, I'm not going to say skyrocket prices, because whenever you shop with small businesses, the prices sometimes do tend to be higher because they're doing all that manufacturing right there themselves and paying for everything out of pocket. Right. So you see a bit more of the cost. But I really hope that they definitely stick to that value of keeping the money within the Black community, because I'm really big on community economics. And although they are not FDIC insured, and they are using other entities that are FDIC insured to hold your money and to help you protect your money, that's beautiful, because they didn't have to. They could have played off of Killer Mike's
name,
off of his reputation and said, "Oh, y'all just put y'all money here." You know what I'm saying? That's beautiful to see. Also, the mayor of, is it Atlanta? I think he on the board. But you know, they could have played off those reputations alone and possibly gotten away with not protecting people's money. But they took it a step further and said, "Well, we're going to work with ensuring that your actual money is put into a FDIC insured institution while it's sitting." That's beautiful. But community economics is a must, and that's what they're doing at a large, beautiful scale. So
he's definitely been preaching that. You know what I'm saying? He got a movie on Netflix, and which is dope. And then with hearing him speak when they was rioting and all that other stuff down here. You know what I'm saying? When he came out, him and T.I. came out with the mayor and everything, it was dope. Like, just hearing him talking, his knowledge base is nuts. So shout out to Killer Mike, like you said, man. I love every minute of it. You dig?
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. And then he's with the Bank Black movement. I wonder if he's with the Bank Black movement that I'm thinking of. Sorry, I just saw that.
More than likely.
I hope so.
I did have a question for you. Well, not really. It's kind of like a question mixed in with today in history too. You know what I'm saying? So.
What's up today in history?
Oh no. So actually, back in Back in 1955, you know what I'm saying? On December 1st. That's when Rosa Parks got arrested for sitting down on a bus for refusing to give up her seat and things like that. Now, my question shout out to Rosa, RIP Rosa Parks. But my question is, with that, like, because I've been thinking that it was kind of like, okay, let's stage this thing so we can get something going. You know what I'm saying? Is it, like, in your opinion, do you think, because she was already a part of, the civil rights movement before it was called the civil rights movement back then, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, do you think it was like, okay, they had a meeting one day and she was like, well, look, we starting right here.
I don't think so. They it was a lot of, in all honesty, truthfulness, there was a lot of people who sat on the bus, and I don't want to say that her situation was not brutal, because anytime that you're told you can't do something because you're considered a second-rate citizen, that's brutal, period, in my opinion. But there were a lot of people who had been brutalized by the police, a lot of women who had been brutalized by the police, but there was something about her in regards to, and I don't like.
Do you think that
she was a good, like, I don't want to say character like it's a book and they acted it out, but she met the qualifications as a good face for that particular movement, right? She was educated. She was physically attractive. She, you know, she spoke well. Her situation was complete. All situations most likely during that time were completely justifiable, but she didn't have a background. It's kind of like when you start hearing stories when Trayvon Martin happened, or when George Floyd happened. The first thing they want to do is try to criminalize that person, demonize that person. It would have been very hard to do with her. So I'm pretty sure when it happened to other people, they were like, well, that person may have this history, or maybe they work 2 jobs, and maybe they work at a Jew joint. You know how moral substitute can be, but she was the perfect stance. Do I think it was staged? No.
I mean, I didn't like, I mean staged in that way, you know what I'm saying? Like, because like you said, basically, okay, this is the face. This is something that we can run with this movement, because again, she was a part of this movement before this incident happened. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't called the civil rights movement at that point. You know what I mean? But it's like, okay, she was the one to kick it off. You know what I'm saying? Like,
she wasn't the one to kick it off. She was, in regards to the boycotting in that particular community, it was something that they got to put forward. She was just a really good face for, this is happening to our women. Do you really want this happening to your little girl? You know, she was just a really good face for that. And because it was going on everywhere. It was happening everywhere. But to get the Montgomery, right? Yeah. Oh my God, I'm gonna sound illiterate. It was in Montgomery, and they were trying to get people to boycott the system, right? They were trying to get them to boycott the buses and a lot of other things within the community. So they needed someone that resonated with the people. And she was a hardworking woman. She was an attractive woman. She was an educated woman. She was marking off the boxes, because something that we do to ourselves that some other communities do not do, and some other communities do. They also do as well. They do as well is that they then turn around and they demonize the victim, or they victim blame. Well, she should have did this. Oh, she's uneducated. It was going to happen to her anyway. Oh, she's very poor. It was going to happen to her anyway. She checked all the boxes for a well put together Black person. That's the only way I know how to say it. You know what I'm saying?
The reason I asked, because you hit the nail on the head with, this was going on several places, right? And I mean, when I look at this, and I mean, just thinking about certain things, I look at it like, okay, she was a fair-skinned Black person. You know what I'm saying? Like, not caramel complexion, not darker. Like, is it okay? Bam, she right there. She light bright, almost white, but not dark enough for us to.
Well, she resonated with both Blacks and whites.
Yeah, like, is it, that's what I wanted to add. Is it that she was lighter that pushed it, versus somebody being of darker complexion and them trying to say, okay, let's push this, let's push that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't taking nothing away from what it was.
I don't even, with her, I really don't think, I wouldn't say that particularly. Is there a, I'm trying to think of the right way to say it. Is there something that comes along with lighter skin? Yes. Is there a hierarchy within the Black community on the basis of your skin color? Yes. It's historical precedent, and it's due to slavery. And unfortunately, would that make her seem more like she needed saving? Yes, you could break it down that way. I could be in a class on Blackness in America. That's probably not a class. I don't know. But if I was in a sociology class, could I break it down that way? What were some of the characteristics about her that would make her a good candidate for getting people to move during that time? Yes, that's possible. That's a definitely possible outcome. Do I know everybody's motive? I would say no. Do I think that it would have still happened with a darker skinned woman, yes, I think that's possible. But how possible would it be for during that time frame for a darker skinned woman to have as much education? I don't know.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm not taking nothing away, but I mean, I question a lot of things at times. You know what I'm saying?
It's a plausible question during the time with the location, trying to get people to back a movement that, you know, sometimes people are in a good space at that point in time and they don't see a reason or a need to. Sometimes, and you know, when it's back then, if it was bad for a lighter complected Black person, then you knew it was going to be worse for a darker complected Black person, right? So would that get people to move that would not normally move? Yes. Yeah. I definitely
yeah, I mean, I think that, I mean, yeah, and I think I think the reason I asked too is I think that they saw, because during that time, I mean, we were segregated ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like at certain points, it was like, oh no, if you were lighter, you felt like you were better than somebody that was of darker complexion.
You were treated better by the overall society.
Yeah,
than
and so
a person
that's
of darker complexion.
I think that during that time, is just my opinion yet again. During that time, when Rosa Parks did it, as you mentioned, several people were doing it, but when she did it, well educated, very well spoken, and lighter complexion, that resonated differently than somebody that was darker, that was just made in, you know, that's it. I mean, she did, today was that day that she sat on the bus and got locked up, and that's kicked off the civil rights.
And got locked up. I like how you summarized that.
Well, yeah.
I was thinking the same thing, but I was like, this espresso got me talking crazy. So
yeah, I like how you summarized that right there. She sat on the bus and got locked up.
She was physically, honestly, you want to be honest, she was physically assaulted. She was treated like a second-class citizen. Exactly. And there is, at that time in history too, you have to think about how women were supposed to be held up, and how what's the word I'm looking for? Not patriarchy, but how when they call you guys gentlemen, it's something. It's another word that what's the word?
They call us gentlemen. They
call chivalry. There were certain things that you did not do to a woman. Period. You did not manhandle a woman. Period. Right. Sure. So for her to be handled, to be considered, I'm gonna say this the best way I know how, upper echelon of the Black community, because she got an education, she well-spoken, beautiful, her complexion definitely played a role to make her beauty, by white beauty standards, which is what a lot of Blacks were living by, especially in a place like Montgomery, Alabama. Would I want a darker skinned Black person working in the office typing, or would I want a lighter skinned Black person? Which one made me feel more comfortable, or like I had the best nigga in the office? You know what I'm saying? Okay. Because I think I have to use that term to get people to understand the full gravity of the situation of how you are measured at that time. Mm-hmm. So like you had house.
Go ahead. I'll say
you had the house. You had this. Y'all gonna bleep this out for me? People are gonna know what I'm saying. That's fine. But I don't really want to be, you know. You had a house nigga, slave nigga. I mean, house nigga, field nigga, still nigga. But which one was most preferred by society?
Big facts.
I say I can't bleep it live, but
I know you can't bleep it live, but I mean the replay. You know the replay.
Yeah, I got you.
You had to be on the show to hear me say it. To hear Miss Black Texas USA say it, you had to be on the show.
That happened for you, yes.
But I mean, real talk, and we do keep it real here. That's how they looked at it. That's how they viewed it, and that's how they talked. And even Malcolm X,
that's still how they view it, and that's why I have such a, I don't want to say disdain. I understand nationality, but you also, like, there has to be, we talked about it last time in regards to Gino, and when Gino was talking about he's of Puerto Rican heritage, that's a nationality. That's on the basis of a name of a community, right? Yeah. So
and let me clear that up too. That when I said that too, I said the three parts, I misspoke. it was. I said European. That's wrong. It's Spaniard, African American, and Taino
Okay,
Indian, which is the indigenous people of Puerto Rico. Yes, correct. Sorry. So
I looked it up and I was like, should I bring that back up? I'm not gonna bring that back up
no,
because
I
I'm a
want no, I
sociologist, so I
definitely
think
want to
about
be
it.
clear. Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, no. You definitely were clear, but
Yeah.
The understanding, we have to understand, and I think I said it like one of our first episodes together.
Yeah.
Black people, there are constantly dividers between Black people. And I don't want this to seem like an attack mode. It's all out of love, right?
Well, yeah, because I grew up on that side with you. I am Latino, but I did not grow up as a Latino family member would, I guess you would say. I grew up in an African
Light skinned black.
You are exact. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I grew up.
Said it.
I grew up with
still
Reggie.
Black
I grew
though.
up
Like Latino is a culture and a nationality, right? It is not necessarily a race, because Latino comes from what? Spaniards. Spaniards are what? Europeans, right? Latino is going to be some type of mix from Spaniards coming to conquer and mixing with a different culture, right? That's South America, where the Spaniards went, conquered, and you get that Latino mix, right? I say Latino mix, but Latino heritage. So understanding that these nationalities do not define if you are Black or not. You have there has to be unity across the board. Not that there's not unity right now as we're speaking, and I think that there is an understanding, but to understand that you could be Puerto Rican and still be Black. So if you walk like that, there was something that touched me, and it was, you said, you went somewhere, and when you walk in, they automatically assume that you're going to be a certain way because they assume that you're Black, but you are Black, but you are Puerto Rican heritage. You get what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
I totally understand you. Yeah.
Yeah. So and I know in America it gets very weird because we call each other we can be very ignorant at times, and we call each other Black and white. That's it. But understanding that Black is the one thing that we all share, and that Puerto Rican heritage or Nigerian heritage or Cameroonian heritage or Jamaican heritage is a heritage, and it is a nationality, and there is still a unifying common denominator, and that is the Blackness. And we have to really understand that. So when you walk in a room and somebody says that you're Black, not that you got offended, but there are people of Puerto Rican and Jamaican heritage or Trinidadian heritage who will get offended. I'm not Black, I'm Trinidadian. What?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's problematic. Like if somebody,
there's no offense taken. I was just merely pointing on the exact problem of we do, classify ourselves more than just say hello first, or the first thing is always that judgment. The first thing is always that classification, as opposed to just saying, a simple hello even. So yeah, that's
horrible.
I could just feel it. And it doesn't matter to me what you call me, because we are all different, regardless, like you just said, of culture, heritage. If you don't grow up in that environment that I guess people expect you to, because they see it a certain way growing up the way they did, then it becomes where they're just ignorant. Not that it's a negative to them. I'm saying ignorant is just not educated on the fact that because someone might be this or that doesn't mean that they grew up this or that. They could have a totally different upbringing and really trip you out. And I've seen Hispanics that look straight Asian, and when they start talking, they speak fluent fluent Spanish, and I'm like, what? Yeah, one of my favorite Spanish restaurants, the owner is a lady. The lady who owns it, when I first met her, thought she was Asian, and turns out, nope, she's full on Spanish. So, yeah, that's why it's better to just talk to someone and get to know them, as opposed to just like I did. I assumed it, but I went to ask her like, how come you speak so fluently? Did you learn that? And then she's like, no, I'm Spanish. And it's like, wow, so it was great to learn rather than assume. And that's what we should all do as people.
And that's beautiful. That's looking for understanding.
Right.
That's beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's more or less the point, because I was as confused as ever growing up as far as what society told me and what those around me who were close to me and helped me grow up told me. So yeah, it's confusing. I see why young people get discouraged, get depressed. If you just listen to that, sure, but you got to get up and learn and go read and figure things out, because what you might get from someone or something shouldn't make you want to just collapse yourself into like, I don't know who I am and I'm just depressed. Like, no, don't do that.
They cut from a different cloth, man.
Yeah.
Who?
The kids now, they cut from a different cloth. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? They are cut from the cloth of those who have produced them.
True that.
And people, what's that new generation? I think they call it Generation Z.
Millennial, or is there one?
Millennials? Not millennials. What's after millennials?
Generation Xbox, Generation PlayStation.
No, and my computer just went dead, so I can't look them up. But I don't think is the millennial the newest one, or is there one before that?
No, I don't think millennial's the newest one. I think it's something I forget.
Google it. I can't Google it because my computer went dead. Somebody Google it. My computer went dead. I just ordered some
Generation
new
Z.
Generation Z. Okay, so people always think I'm Generation Z. Not right now. Y'all know I got my Coretta Scott, Rosa Parks hairstyle look today. I might have to go take some pictures so y'all can see how cute I was. It's very 60s. I love that look. I love that feel. Nice. I love that classiness.
Yes.
So I love, pulling my hair back and doing the bun. My grandmother raised me, so I have a very old, classy vibe to me when it comes to me. But that people be like, oh, you can't do anything with Generation Z. They cut from a different cloth. They different. They sensitive. They this. They that.
Listen to what they say. A Gen Z trait is cynicism and dark humor. That they're not as hopeful as previous generations and do want to change things, but have been fighting fiercely for change. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. They classify you as cynicists and dark, but there are Gen Zs that do want to change and fight. So
because they have knowledge at their fingertips.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They have something that we did not have. And that will make you cynical. If from the time of 5 to 6, you can say to the phone what you want to know about, and it tells you right then and there. Like it tells you there's no mom and dad or grandma and grandpa or auntie and uncle get to sugarcoat it, butter it up for you. And you're no longer okay with that, because now it's been going on for 60 years, 125 years. It's been going on since your grandparents were here. And yeah, you're definitely going to look to change that. So I don't think that they are different. They're cut from the cloth that made them. That's what they are. And it's like, that's going to be my new thing. I just made that up. But they're cut. You're cut from the cloth that made you and threaded you. So they are everything. I feel like they are everything that this world needs, whether it's a revolution or it's unification, or if it's unification through a revolution or revolution through a unification. I 100% accept them for who they are. There's a few things I can fix about them, but they're not to be they're not to be fixed. They are to be allowed to grow and to learn and to understand, and they seek understanding, and they don't have a problem with talking about stuff that used to be a problem to talk about it, because there are a lot of times I stop and I'll be like, how do I say this the correct way? They're not looking for political correctness. They're looking for change.
Yeah.
And I'm a millennial. I barely made it, but I'm a millennial. So mine's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. So, but with them, everything is right at their fingertips. They don't have to go ask mom and daddy no more. And mom and daddy are gone, and they're wondering why. Like, why does mom and dad have to work so hard but they can Google the cost of rent. That's something I couldn't do.
Right. Exactly.
They can pull the calculator out on their phone and see that, oh, well, mine makes $10 an hour. That's why she always pulling overtime for $950 in rent or $1,200 in rent for a 2-bedroom so that I can have my own personal.
Right.
So they understand. And so I think people are considering it cynicism, but I consider it as realism. They're going to say it out loud all over Twitter.
That's Bing's answer. But yeah, I mean, I guess I have a millennial. She's 22. And then I guess he's a Gen Z because he's 16. So
no, a 22-year-old shouldn't be a Gen. They're both Gen Zs.
They're both Gen Z, 98?
When was a 22-year-old born?
98.
Yeah, I think she's a Generation Z. Because I was going to date this guy, but he was a Generation Z. And he was like, yeah.
I thought she was, but still, yeah. But even so, both of them, I noticed, the older one is a little less likely to not ask me. And the youngest one will definitely not ask me because we just went through this with a song that he likes called Shook Ones by Mobb Deep, which is a real classic hip hop song. Mm-hmm. And he said he had been searching for it for months. Well, his dad has grown up on that song and know it. So all he had to do, and of course, hello, this is what I do, right? So
about to say.
Right. So instead of asking me, this young man decided to take months to find it himself. So there you go. There's exactly the point you made of you don't ask or they don't ask, and they are pretty.
Adults are no longer the gatekeepers of knowledge. And I think that bothers us more than anything. Like back then, you would have to go ask for an album from your parents to be able to hear a song. You know what I'm saying? Me, I would have to ask for the cassette in my early years. If I wanted to listen to something specifically that was off the radio, or asked to go to the store and they would ask me my age. Oh, that's not necessary. YouTube Music. I'm a student. $5 a month versus, whatever the cost may or may not be. So yeah, they no longer have to answer to I don't want to say adults, but people older than them as gatekeepers of knowledge. And that could be bothersome when that previous generation grew up having to deal with gatekeepers of knowledge and thinking now that it's our right to disseminate knowledge as we please.
Yeah. Well, I've always been a questioner, so I've never really felt that, but I get what you're saying. Like even when people told me stuff back in the day when we would be, because we said this too recently, that the barbershops are no longer what they were, where we used to all talk and then you had to believe, like you just said, that gatekeeper of knowledge, that specific barber or that specific customer who comes in and says something, and then you're like, wow, really, that happened? Now you can Google or Bing or whatever, right? Get online and find out instantly if this person is telling you the truth or factual knowledge. So yeah, exactly. This is where you can no longer really tell someone a tall tale, as they used to say. I don't even think the new generation might know what a tall tale means unless they were given one in school or something, right?
But you know what? They are given one in school a lot, especially when it comes to African American history. But neither here nor there. I think that maybe, on a flip side, I'm not going to say I think that maybe, because I have to be more confident in my thoughts and my processes and understanding. On the flip side, what we are seeing is that now they got to disseminate that information. They got to decide whether it's true or not. And that's scary. Conquerors are the ones who write history. And that can be scary too, because we could lose a lot of culture and historical precedent or, things that are historically relevant because it's not on the internet and you no longer have to go to those gatekeepers. And maybe the gatekeepers now no longer, maybe they're that generation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Some millennials are having some Generation Zs are having kids. So that could be problematic. We could lose a lot of history because, especially as minorities, because we are not the
do you think we'll lose history or we'll get it right? Because now, even myself learning today, I'm a lot happier with what I'm learning now than what I thought I was learning from other people in the past. Because I'm even finding out that the stories that they told me weren't accurate. So I'm now learning a new set of knowledge about the history that I once thought I kind of knew. So it, to me, I like it. I like the fact that we're getting it right, in a sense where you said, as long as you can fact check and make sure that who you're getting your information from is a valid source, then sure, why not get it
How
right?
easy is it for people to figure out about what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and what was the real name of that community if they don't know what they're looking for?
Oh, all you have to do is kind of, if you are interested, like for instance, if they heard any bit of what you were saying, like if they heard, like, man, I heard something about Tulsa. If you start typing in Tulsa, Oklahoma, things start to pop up ridiculously. Where you're right today, where you couldn't do that with like an encyclopedia in the 90s.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
used to read encyclopedias.
me too. I had them too. I had the Encyclopedia Britannica set.
Me
Yeah,
too.
I thought
I
I
used
was doing something.
but because I
Yeah.
was a very antisocial child. So yeah, y'all, we used
Well,
to
I
read
was a
books.
single child, so I like to read and I like to chill and make things and tinker. But that's why I said I always like to fact check. So when people told me things, I would run to my Google, which was the encyclopedia. But today you can run to Google and you can start typing in anything, even if you don't have specific knowledge. Like you said, you may not know the event, but if you heard, man, I heard somebody say something serious went down there. If you start typing that Tulsa, Oklahoma, I can assure you there's going to be references to something popping up as you do
There's
that.
gonna be references. I guess my fear is not that I'm against the disbursement of knowledge. No, my fear is much like the textbook has whitewashed history.
Sure.
The internet could become like that.
Oh, please. It's already like that. You have to,
That's what I'm saying. So like,
you have to be careful. Right. But that's what we
but
need.
children, they're so ready to learn. Like, let me not just say children. Anyone who is hungry for knowledge is so ready to learn. And they're going to take that information.
Yeah.
And they're going to look at the top sources, right?
Right.
And there's something that I learned in school is about fact checking is not just about what's being reproduced. It's even more important to who produced it.
Right.
Being able to do a complete bibliography on that person, or being able to research that person and look at their look at where they're coming from. And that I don't know how likely, why everybody want to call me? It's almost time for me to get off this call. How likely that is. I would be a little afraid that the internet could wash that away for some people.
No, it definitely can. And it is a slippery slope. It's very unfiltered. And you do have to take a lot of it with a grain of salt. But of course, I guess the key is to just keep going. Don't stop there. Just like don't stop at the TV. Don't stop at the papers if they still read those, or if you do it online. But yeah, just don't stop at that one specific thing. Keep searching for that same knowledge through different channels. And if all those stories seem to add up, then you can make a pretty educated guess on what it is going to be, what the truth should or would be. Yeah. But nonetheless, I know we've kept you over. Thank you so much for coming on today and talking about those money tips, especially with the Greenwood Bake. I'm looking forward to that more coming in the future, I'm sure. So,
and next week I'm gonna talk about the step 2 from Dave Ramsey. Today we just talked about step 1.
Step 1, right? And that was put your money in a
his is my tip is put that money in a different bank and make sure somebody's giving you an incentive. But his first step is make sure you save at least $1,000 for an emergency fund in the event that something happens. Always make sure you have that.
Right. And remember the keyword budget, guys. Got to make sure you do that. So, yes, Sabrina, thank you. We'll let you get back to it. And we'll see you next week. Be safe. Be good.
No problem. Yes. Awesome. My song for the day is 12 Rap City.
Oh, yeah.
Rap City 12.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Rap City 12.
I'm sorry. Let me get that. Yeah. Go ahead. What did you say that is? Rap
12
City?
by Rap City.
12 by
RHAPSODY, I think.
okay. Yep, I'm trying to pull my computer up and I will get
Gotta get
that
him
going. I gotta do usually I have him to talk for me while I'm doing this, but we lost him. I guess his internet went back out. But I will tell him that you said goodbye and we will see you next week for sure. I'll get that song pulled up. 12 by Rap City, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Right. I'm gonna head out. I got to get out of here and go handle some business and do some contracts. I'll see you guys later.
Thanks again. We'll see you.
All right. See you next week.
All right, guys. That was Sabrina Lewis, Miss Black Texas USA 2020 with Sabrina Speaks Tuesday. And we have her song, Rap City 12 Problems. Yeah. So we are going to get this queued up. And while I do so, I'm going to take you guys out with the holiday giveaway commercial. Make sure y'all pay attention to how to win. We're going to be giving away a one lump sum, and we're not saying what it is just yet because we want you to get in tune with it. Yes, we do. And make sure that you go over to YouTube and check out the live Sabrina Speaks segment. Go back. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. We'll get them to her. But yeah, just giving you some real tips out there. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to play this 12 Rap City 12, and then I'm gonna do the commercial. We're gonna see if we can get stamped back. Woo, it's all going on here. But YouTube, peace. Go back over to the app. We'll see you over there.